welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, here to talk about all things professional wrestling from WWE, AEW, and everything in between. So, here we are once again on a beautiful, it is Friday. Those who have the weekend off, obviously give you guys a lot of preps. Hope you guys have a great weekend with your family, your loved ones. Hope you guys have an amazing time together. I will be working on Saturday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just kidding. No, like you gotta do you gotta do what you gotta. You gotta do what you gotta do overall. So, happy for that, I guess. But hey, tonight's SmackDown. Can't wait to watch it. I got it recorded right now. Have not checked a single shred of social media, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook for any kind of content or anything like that. So, I'm going in I love going in blind. I absolutely love the shock factor in terms of professional wrestling. That's why I'm a huge professional wrestling fan. Obviously, if you have not noticed, by now, obviously I have a podcast about it. So, all right. So let's go ahead and dig on into it. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just to kind of, we have a lot for you today on tap. We're going to talk about our WWE Smackdown preview. Then we're going to get into my Thursday night wrestling review. We're going to talk about Ring of Honor, TNA, also a little bit about the NWA. And then our third segment, we're going to talk about the Bloodline is coming to Monday Night Raw and on Netflix. I believe 1,010% WWE could use this storyline to kind of be like whenever you click on Netflix and you're in search for something to watch, maybe some series and TV series and stuff like that. The beautiful thing about WWE is you have The Rock. You have The Rock, he's on the board of directors with TKO Holdings. So if you're Netflix, you're like, 1,010%. You're like, essentially, yeah, dude. Honestly, we're getting a wrestling program, but also we're getting a series that is starring The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He's starred in a lot of movies. He's obviously Hollywood prominent. He's, he's a big face in Hollywood. Honestly, in my opinion, he's kind of the face of Hollywood. Whenever you see The Rock, you think about Hollywood movies, think about Disney, think about motion pictures, think about just everything under the umbrella in terms of the entertainment industry. So we're going to talk about that. Our fourth segment, we're going to talk about, you know, um, kind of had a blast from the past a little bit. I was watching TV. I think I was no, I think it was I was watching Peacock, and I was kind of flipping through the WWE section, obviously. As I was looking at like the WCW, WWE/WWF, like Monday Night War, and I was like, dude, you know what? We got a lot of good talent on WCW. So I want to give you guys my top 10, my top 10 WCW superstars in the 2000s before they got, accumulated by WWE before the whole invasion thing. So I want to share some of that. And then our fifth and final segment, everything, every single Friday I do this. Nice little, professional wrestling, just a, roundabout in terms of news and stuff like that, just in case if you meet somebody who shares that same passion in terms of professional wrestling. You can always strike up a nice conversation, maybe strike up have a lifelong friendship because of the conversation you started. You never know. Or maybe if you're a guy going out to like talk to, a girl or vice versa, and you're like, hey, like, you a wrestling fan? And you're like, oh my God, yes. And it's like this magic moment. And there's like fireworks, when your lips are close to mine. Like, and it's like this magical wrestling romance. I'm just, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Obviously, wrestling fans, if you want to, be with anybody, be with you on wrestling fan, because at the same time, you can always watch, pay-per-views. Other than that, you're with, you know, since WWE PLEs are coming to, they're going to be on Sundays. I don't know if that's going to be really savvy in terms of the NFL kind of season a little bit. I hope it stays on Saturday. I really honestly do. I hope they don't move to Sundays. I think overall that'd be a big hurt to the WWE. But yeah. So let's go on and dig on into it. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to use this super chat box. If you have a burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling, just something you're dying to share, the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. We are all ears. This show is about keeping the conversation going, keeping it lively, making sure your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside the chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets noticed, why not use that super chat box? Just hit that dollar sign below the chat box. Send in your message. It's guaranteed to get featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel. Your super chats helps us keep the lights on and bring you even more awesome wrestling content that you love so much. We are so grateful for each and every one of you, obviously. So who joins us here today? Your support means a lot to us, makes a hell of a difference. So let's keep the conversation going, keep the party going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we'll make this show bigger and better and stronger than ever. And if the super chat is not your thing, remember we are still at the go ahead and hit up the gsmcpodcast.net, hit up the tips and donations link. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Hit up that link. Superman punch the like and subscribe button to the show. Also follow the show, follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. So yeah, honestly, I'm dying. I'm eager to find out what you guys have to say. What you think about professional wrestling? All right, so let's talk about some WWE Smackdown. It is live tonight in the Key. I think they said it was the Kia Center. Yeah, I think they're live in the Kia Center tonight. So in Orlando. Tonight, Roman Reigns returns to WWE SmackDown. There was a lot of scrutiny online saying that they loved the promo that Roman Reigns did. He took out the entire Bloodline all by himself last week on WWE SmackDown. But they want to hear him talk. They want to hear him talk. They want to find out his opinion about basically everything that's been happening within the last 6 months in terms of Solo Sikoa. He wants to find out everything. The fans want to find out everything that Roman Reigns has been feeling after WrestleMania. So this is going to be a really really big promo. This is going to be possibly setting up for the next year, maybe a year and a half in terms of WrestleMania, in terms of who's like The Rock, what's gonna go on with the Bloodline, Civil War. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what the Roman Reigns has to say. I can't wait for him to call Solo Sikoa out. I have no idea if Jacob Fatu's going to return tonight. He's still questionable, and WWE is still kind of keeping him on the hush hush in terms of the injury report and stuff like that. So perhaps maybe they find a way to get Jacob involved because I know a lot of Roman Reigns fans. I know me myself. I wasn't the biggest Roman Reigns fan. I recently warmed up to him, and especially as a heel. I think he did an amazing job as a heel. So if this night goes the bloodline, I think the young bloodline, after being humiliated by Roman Reigns last week, something's got to give. Something's got to give if they want to be taken seriously right now. The way Roman came in, the way I've always kind of speculated how WWE fans are, in the back of their minds. I feel like Solo Sikoa was pushed a little too early into a feud with Cody Rhodes. Obviously that is Solo Sikoa's personality, though. That's how it's portrayed in terms of WWE storylines. So, you can't really be mad too much. But overall, I feel like if you want the fans to believe that Solo Sikoa could actually be the tribal chief and Roman Reigns has to be put in a delicate spot. I keep saying that, I keep reiterating this over and over again. Like Roman Reigns needs to get his ass kicked. He needs to get his ass kicked. He needs to get the full fan support behind him to the point where I think Roman Reigns is going to fight WrestleMania. I do. I believe in 1,010% he's going to fight at WrestleMania. I'm not sure if he's going to win his second Royal Rumble. Obviously it's possible. Cody Rhodes did it. He won 2 Royal Rumbles in 2 years. So, and for all sake of a WWE long-term storytelling. So it's possible. It's possible. And I feel like it'd be great. I feel like it'd be great. Obviously, you have The Rock knocking on the door. You also have, him on either. He's knocking on the door in Roman Reigns. I think especially Roman Reigns. I think a lot of people are, kind of facaded by this whole persona and this whole rivalry he does have with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. He came back to WWE. He didn't expect to get any Cody Rhodes lashback. He wanted the smoke from his cousin Roman Reigns. He wants to be part. He wants to be the ultimate tribal chief. So like recently, I have been thinking about it. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe The Rock, maybe he's not pulling the strings behind this whole Solo Sokoa dealio. You know what I mean? But we'll talk about it a little more in our third segment. But so yeah, and then we have Roman Reigns speaking tonight on WWE Smackdown. And we also have Tiffany Stratton throwing a championship celebration for the WWE Women's Champion, Nia Jax. This celebration, in any kind of title celebration, it screams, let's just, let's just stroke the ego a little bit. Someone's probably going to come out and, state their claim within the, the women's, the WWE championship. That's just, if you don't know wrestling, obviously that's what happens. That's, that's what happens. And Tiffany Stratton still does have that briefcase. I don't know how comfortable Nia Jax feels knowing that she's like my Barbie, knowing that she has the power to take that title away from you in 3 seconds. That one, two, three, bam. Tiffany Stratton becomes the new WWE Women's Champion. I don't really see her going to Monday Night Raw. I don't, see her trying to cash in on Liv Morgan. I guess with this whole, because you're going to have essentially both the WWE shows, Raw and SmackDown, from September 1st to January. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of, mix up in terms of roster. Recently, the WWE has kind of set in stone. They had the draft and stuff like that. But before then, you saw a lot of the times because Roman Reigns was the undisputed champion. And the Usos were undisputed champions, and you also have the women's world tag team titles that can jump from brand to brand and stuff like that. So obviously there's you know, a lot of people, including myself, I'm like, why have brands if we're gonna have people jump from ship to ship to ship? And now you kind of have the WWE Championship, you have the World Heavyweight Championship, the WWE Tag Team. Like it's to the point where I don't know. I think there will be a time where WWE kind of merges back together, kind of quits this whole brand split, so to speak, between SmackDown and WWE Raw. But it has been in some great storylines. Obviously, Team SmackDown, Team Raw fighting each other at Survivor Series. That's a huge thing. That's a huge deal. There was a Survivor Series where you had Raw or SmackDown versus NXT, where NXT won most of the matches, which was actually pretty badass. Hope that comes back. But I think WWE is still kind of playing their hand a little bit. Like they could still kind of do that and still have wrestlers kind of move from Raw and SmackDown. But at the same time, at Survivor Series, they can still do their Team Raw. They can still do their, Team SmackDown. But now with this whole War Games initiation and stuff like that, like it's becoming, last year the main event was War Games. That's when CM Punk came back. And it wasn't necessarily Raw versus SmackDown, not at all. It's more or less just to kind of keep them in like I don't know, just kind of keep them in divisions and stuff like that. But I don't know, it should be interesting. I feel like heading, with both shows coming to the United States, the USA Network. I feel like they're gonna do a little bit of a like a sleight of hand, so to speak. They're gonna put a lot of superstars into different scenarios, and I feel like it's gonna be great. Next, we have DIY battling the Street Profits for the WWE Tag Team titles, the number one contenders match. The winner takes on the Bloodline. Should be at Bash of Berlin. I hope it is. I don't want to find out that it's the Raw. The SmackDown before Bash of Berlin. I got to be honest. It's kind of that kind of pissed me off. Naomi takes on Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport has recently aligned herself with the Unholy Union. Obviously, you have Naomi, you have Jade, you have Bianca Belair. Obviously, they're friends, close friends. So, Blair Davenport, ever since being drafted, she's kind of made a little bit of an impact, but not too much. I think for her character to kind of be, a little progressive in terms of WWE, she needs to pick up this win. She needs to pick up this win. Naomi is a huge star in WWE history. So this would be a nice little bounce back spot for Blair Davenport because in their first meeting, you did have Naomi pick up that victory. So Blair, I think she needs a little momentum heading toward you know, heading toward WWE Bash of Berlin. So I think that'd be pretty awesome. Lastly, we have Kevin Owens taking on Grayson Waller. When will this A-Town Down Under thing end? I feel like it's gonna end tonight. I feel like it's kind of rearing its ugly head to the point where they're going to fight each other. Grayson Waller is out for himself. Austin Theory's just looking for he's just looking for a spot. He's just looking for somewhere to feel, kind of, at ease or just to kind of feel welcome or something like that. Kind of creating a little bit of that, kind of baby face mentality and and sorts. I feel like Austin Theory would be an amazing baby face. I feel like he'd be great. So I don't know. It's just can't wait to watch SmackDown tonight. I have it recorded. Can't wait. So yeah, let's go and move on to our second segment. We're going to talk about a Thursday night wrestling review. We're going to talk about Ring of Honor, TNA, and also a little bit about the National Wrestling Alliance. So hey, grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and come back.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit. A stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right, all right, all right. And welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to talk about all the things we love in terms of professional wrestling, all the action inside and out, all the rumors and juicy drama behind the curtain, superstar news, superstar updates, injury updates, contract, statuses and stuff like that. We talk about here on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. Just to kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick, we recently talked about our WWE Smackdown preview, and now we're going to talk about my Thursday night wrestling review. So let's go ahead and dig on into that. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat box if you have a burning question to talk about, or if you have a hot, juicy take in terms of professional wrestling. We are all ears. The show's about keeping the conversation lively, keeping the party going, making sure your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy. Drop your thoughts, drop your comments, concerns, opinions inside the chat box. And if you really want to make sure your question or comment gets read on air and gets noticed, why not use that super chat box? Just hit that $ below the chat, send in your message, and it's guaranteed to get featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel. Your support, your super chats helps us keep the lights on and bring you the best wrestling content in sports entertainment. We are so grateful for each and every one of you guys to be part of this podcast, who joins us here every night. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep up the conversation going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. Also, and together we will make this show bigger and better and stronger than ever. And if the super chat thing isn't, if it's not your thing, just go ahead and hit up the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Give me your comments, questions, concerns. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Give me some of your hot takes in terms of professional wrestling. Also, Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the GSMC Sports Network. We have a lot of great shows for you today. And on the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. So go ahead and leave a positive chat. But, take criticism as well. I take it also well. I promise I won't cry on air, again. I'm just kidding. It's like, oh, so what's happened in the past? No, you know it. No. I'm not that sensitive. Although my wife says I'm actually kind of sensitive, so I'm a wrestling fan. We vibe on drama. You know what I mean? So that's just us. So yeah, go ahead and hit up that super chat box. Hit that dollar sign. It's gonna be totally awesome. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say in terms of professional wrestling. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some Thursday night wrestling review. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be amazing. And let's go ahead and start. Let's start off some TNA. TNA, after sending the former X Division champion Mustafa Ali packing in his first title defense, TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth is looking for a battle. Obviously, he found a battle within Josh Alexander. Obviously, there was a lot of a lot of drama at Slammiversary, a lot of backstage rumors saying that Alexander was supposed to get, he was supposed to take the title. He was supposed to win. What made them choose Nick when the match started? I'm not too sure because I guess he found out during the match. Speculations. I'm not, obviously everything that's said is, not entirely true unless it comes out the horse's mouth, mouth. So it's a big possibility that maybe perhaps TNA wanted to kind of have something different, start something new with this new era of Josh Alexander. But Nick Nemeth is just so damn good. He's just so damn good. You know, I don't know if he was going to partake in this collaboration between WWE, NXT, and TNA after what WWE did to his career and kind of left him on the back burner. Let him perform well on house matches, dark matches, and stuff like that. But when it comes to Raw or SmackDown or pay-per-views, they're like, all right, now we kind of need you to suck. But no, not like that. But no, like I don't know. It's never really, it's never really an easy topic to kind of talk about. But yeah, honestly, kind of crazy. First and foremost, we had Riley Osborne of Chase U defeat Chris Bay and John Skyler to qualify for the Ultimate X match at TNA Emergence. TNA Emergence takes place August 30th, so it should be coming right around the curtain. A lot of success from Chase U lately. You have them win the NXT World Tag Team titles on Tuesday against Axiom and Nathan Frazier. And now you have Riley Osborne, going after the X Division champion, Mike Speedball now, Speedball. So, a lot of possibilities, a lot of potential storylines. I think it's great. I think it's great. I love this collaboration between TNA and also WWE. Santino Marella, the kind of the general manager at TNA, also loves it as well. So, it's going to be great. I feel like Emergence is going to be obviously TNA Slammiversary got a lot of attention, got a lot of views, got a lot of ticket sales and stuff like that. And then now it's actually, being one of the number ones pay-per-view bought by wrestling fans. I think I read somewhere. I think it was Cage Side Seats. I read that. But it's not a surprise. You got TNA heating up, NXT. You have Joe Henry kicking ass on NXT. Jordan Grace doing her thing. She fought Roxanne Perez a couple months ago. It was great. It was great when she popped into the ring. A lot of people were like, "Oh my god!" And you saw Tatum Paxley, Izzy Dame on TNA soil. You also saw Charlie Dempsey in the No Quarter Catch Crew. Then now you're seeing, Riley Osborne on there. So a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff in terms of long term storytelling for WWE, NXT, and also TNA. So I can't wait to see how that kind of goes moving forward. So Santino Marella leverages Matt Cardona into a contract for a PCO fight. He says, sign the contract or you're in the slammer. Like it's Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder of the WWE, also Chelsea Green's husband. I think, this new persona that Matt has adopted from being outside of the WWE has been absolutely awesome. I feel like it's been phenomenal. I feel like it's his character type. And, I just don't want to see his character sell out once again, just kind of get, attention here a little bit. I know it's kind of on that rickety fence. I know it's on it's on the fringe. And sometimes, in terms of professional wrestling, even in terms of the entertainment business, people say sometimes you kind of have to, you kind of have to go along to get along. You know what I mean? Like I necessarily don't believe that. I feel like 1,010% you should stay true to yourself. And a lot of promos that Matt cuts, that's just him. that's just him, doing his thing and stuff like that. So you can't really leverage him into a contract with TNA. I would love for him to go to NXT. I would absolutely love for him to pop up, kick some ass, dethrone Ethan Page, maybe take on Joe Hendry. I don't know. It's just a lot of possibilities. I'm excited. Obviously, I'm super excited. I used to watch TNA a lot back in, during the heydays back in like the early 2000s when Kurt Angle was there, Jay Lethal and AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Chris Sabin, like a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff. All right. So is he gonna fight PCO though? I think he's scared. Who wouldn't be scared? This guy, the French Canadian Frankenstein. With the name like that, I'd be like, you know what? No, thank you. I'm gone. I'll be in the slammer for like a month. Just kidding. No, but I'm kind of crazy. See, Macklin sends a message to Eric Young. They're gonna have a match in the future. Giselle Shaw defeated Tasha Steeles. We also saw Moose defeat Mike Santana to, kind of to a lot of shockers. I thought Mike Santana was kind of on the verge of, kind of being the next guy, kind of moving up. But, Moose, after being dethroned at Slammiversary, hasn't really been the same guy. You have the system kind of lost right now. They lost the titles in both the tag team division and the main card division. So I think the only person that has a championship is Alicia Edwards, teaming up with Master Slamovich for the knockouts, tag team titles. But I obviously Moose is gonna bounce back. I've had this theory that it'd be cool to kind of see Moose go against Oba Femi for that NXT North American Championship. I feel like that'd be awesome. That'd be super cool to see these guys, these behemoth, these physical specimens kind of go at it. I feel like that'd be badass. Joe Hendry's name wasn't said, but he appears with an announcement after the match. Moose and the system appear to be up to no good. They close on Mike Santana, who was still down and out after a very fought effort. Although no one said his name, Joe Hendry appeared. Hendry runs down to the ring. Rockstar reception in Tampa crowd, and he has a steel chair in hand. Joe Hendry's just killing it. He's just killing 1,010%. So can't Spitfire sends a message to Militia. Jordan Grace responds to Ash by Elegance's attack. And, Jason Hotch defeated Ace Austin and Rich Swann to qualify for the Ultimate X at, TNA Emergence. So a lot of things happening on TNA. Matt Cardona signs a contract with one condition. When the show returns, Matt Cardona convinces Santino Marella to have a 6-person mixed match in Tampa, first involving himself and PCO, and then a one-on-one bout between the two. TNA Emergence. Cardona again pretends that this is all planned, which Santino's all smiles and all about it. Nick Nemeth in the main event, the TNA World Champion, took on Josh Alexander, fought in a 30-minute time limit draw, and now I guess they're gonna fight in a 60-minute Iron Man match for the TNA World Championship at TNA Emergence. So it should be pretty badass. Next week we have Frankie Kazarian taking on Kushida versus Hammerstone. Ultimate X qualifier Laredo Kid takes on Budapinger, Hugar, and Vidal for Ultimate X qualifier. Alicia Edwards takes on Rosemary Charlie Dempsey against Jonathan Grisham. Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy taking on Moose and JDC. So, for TNA heating up. And let's go ahead and talk about Ring of Honor. We have Mark Briscoe defeating Johnny TV with Tyra Valkyrie to retain the Ring of Honor World Championship. Leo Rush defeated Blake Christian. Katsuyori Shibata defeated Aria Davari. Harley Cameron defeated Viva Van. Serpentico defeated Griff Garrison. Anthony Henry and Beef defeated Dante Leon and Vinny Massaro. Lee Moriarty defeated Action Andretti in a pure championship proving ground match. Atlantis Jr. defeated Robbie Eagles to retain the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs defeated Cage of Agony via disqualifications to return the Ring of Honor 6-man champ. I kind of knew that was coming a little bit. I was like, dude, these guys are, seem like they're going to kind of get, overmatched a little bit. So, in the national wrestling, in the national wrestling world, we had Trevor Murdoch and Mike Knox defeat Champ Matthews and also Charles Bison. The NWA National Heavyweight Championship, Thon Vladimir champion defeated through Billy Salas Mason by disqualification. The NWA World Women's Tag Team Champions, the King Bees, defeated Ruthie J and La Rosa Negra. During the show, you saw Trevor Murdoch and Aaron Stevens hype up this tag team match, but and it's kind of, the NWA still around, guys, still, live and prominent, bigger and better on the CW app. Make sure you tune into that. It's on Tuesday nights. Paul Burchill recently signs an exclusive contract with the NWA. So, everybody remembers Paul Burchill. Like he was that badass pirate in like 2006. I think it was 2006. Don't quote me on that. All right, so now we're going to talk about our third segment. We have the Bloodline drama coming to Netflix. So, we're going to talk about the family coming to, and all this drama coming to Netflix, kind of essentially creating this series that because you are in a partnership with WWE, you can have The Rock basically star in a Netflix drama series for free. So we're going to talk about that as soon as we come back. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right. And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just going to reflect on what we talked about real quick. We talked about our WWE. No, we talked about our WWE Smack. Sorry, I thought it was yesterday. I was thinking AEW. No. We had our WWE Smackdown preview. Then we had our Thursday night wrestling review. We talked about Ring of Honor, TNA. Also a little bit about the NWA, and now we're gonna jump on into the Bloodline coming to Netflix. When Netflix moves to Monday Night Raw, so let's go. Sorry, excuse me. Let's go ahead and dive on into that. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to hit up that super chat box. It's going to be super awesome, super cool, because you guys are super awesome. If you have a burning question, or if you just have a hot take in terms of professional wrestling, make sure you guys hit up this link. The show is absolutely nothing without you. We really, really, really want to make sure your comment gets noticed on air. So use that super chat box. It's that $sign under the chat. Send in your message, and it's guaranteed to get featured on the show. And also, it's an amazing way. It's a great way to keep our channel going. Great way to get support and keep the content that you love coming at you full force. We are so grateful about each and every one of you guys. So, just go ahead and hit up that super chat box, super stickers, because you guys are 1,010% super awesome. So let's go and move on into our third segment. We're going to talk about some Bloodline stuff. Always fun talking about the Bloodline. So we have the Bloodline. Rocky, The Rock, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Honorary Sami Zayn. No, I'm just kidding. No. Well, no, he's part of it. He's part of it. But it's been rumored that, people, wrestling fans especially, don't really think that The Rock is pulling the strings around this new young Bloodline. I honestly feel like The Rock is probably going to come with his own kind of group of guys. It's not just, I don't know, it's not just Rocky. It's not just Rocky, 1,010%. You also have Zila Fatu. You also have Hikuleo. You have Lance Anoa'i, still, ready to make a debut in WWE. There's a possibility that The Rock's personality. The Rock, he originally wanted to face Roman Reigns for that tribal chief, kind of, you know, what is it? Like for the name, for the honor. So it's possible that he wants the thing for himself. He's a powerful man, an amazing, powerful man. You have, like I said, you have the Fatus that are still willing and ready to, debut in WWE. So, and, The Rock is on the board of TKO. So it's not like there's going to be much for him to be like, you know what? I don't think this is going to work out. So, let's go ahead and, bail on WWE because, I don't find a place there. That's his home. That's somewhere he's been prominent. He's been loved by the fans so much. If he states his claim as the next tribal chief going at it, I feel like fans will go for it. Fans will go for it 1,010%. He'll get amazing, amazing backup. He can recruit someone like Zila Fatu, Hikaleo, Lance also Jeremiah Fatu to kind of come in. You have your 4-on-4. Roman Reigns obviously has Jimmy, Jay, and the honorary Uce Sami Zayn. And then you have Solo Sikoa with Tamatanga Tangaloa and Jacob Fatu. There's a lot of possibilities that could happen in terms of this, this bloodline storyline, long-term storytelling, and it just comes right around the era, right around the perfect time. Once when you have Netflix interested into being a part of Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw has been the longest reigning television sitcom slash show slash whatever you like to call it forever, 1,010%. And now you have Netflix. Yeah, we'll let WWE stream some content. Why the F not? A lot of movies that The Rock star in aren't really on Netflix. So Netflix is like, you know what? If we get The Rock, we get this whole bloodline storyline drama kind of going through. Essentially, we're going to get two things. We're going to get a WWE, like a wrestling thing, which is cool. But we're also, most importantly, going to get a television series starring The Rock basically for free, verbatim, absolutely for free because who's paying him? WWE, not necessarily Netflix. But with this kind of lingering, drama, it's fitting. It's fitting 1,010% that the Bloodline will come to Monday Night Raw. It's already been said that Michael Cole is going back to SmackDown. And I'm not trying to be an antagonist in terms of where Michael Cole goes or anything like that. But usually where Michael Cole goes, it's not really the show that's like the biggest, between Raw and SmackDown, I guess I'm trying to say. It's like the lesser of two shows. Because Michael Cole's voice is just so provocative, just so moving. Just something that wrestling fans could absolutely wrap their minds around. Absolutely, creates a lot of buzz around superstars that just, gets people like, oh, it could turn somebody like Austin Theory, Michael Cole talking about it could be like the same thing as watching, someone like Carmelo Hayes inside the ring. He makes it into the same kind of thing. So, with a little bit of that, it might be a foretelling. Netflix said they had it in their contract with WWE. Hey, we want Cody or we want Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes, I believe that as soon as this thing starts going with Netflix, you're going to have Cody Rhodes represent the SmackDown brand. And then I think it'd be smart to have this whole Bloodline storyline going to Netflix. Because this is something that Netflix can kind of wrap their heads around a little bit. I kind of see this I don't know if any of you guys, you watched The Wicker or you guys watched, what is that other show on Netflix? Peaky Blinders. Where you kind of have people fighting for that head spot. You have the false prophet, Solo Sikoa. You have the powerful tyrant, The Rock. And then you also have the true king trying to assume his role, Roman Reigns. So essentially, it's like Game of Thrones, but a little more diced out because it's wrestling. But 1,010%, I would absolutely love to see the Bloodline drama come to Netflix. And that brings us to Survivor Series. And Survivor Series in November. You have both shows coming to the USA Network September 1st. You know, there's no problem. There should be no reason why that WWE should, just get rid of the rosters, get rid of, Raw or SmackDown superstars, and just have everybody kind of go at it, kind of like a free for all for the last couple of months in terms of, WWE. It's not going to be part of Fox anymore. Not going to be part of Fox. Going to that PG-13 era where they can't cuss. Yeah, it's not going to be, it's not going to be X'd out anymore. Not at all. So, when you're watching Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, when people were saying, oh, holy shit, like it's not gonna be X'd out. So a lot of superstars are for it. They can't wait. They can't wait. But a lot of scrutiny in terms of WWE. A lot of fans don't want to see WWE go into the direction that AEW is in, or in the direction that WCW was. Like just have like graphic, bloody content and stuff like that. Something that WWE has prided themselves on. The reason kind of why they got rid of blood, the reason why they got rid of all the reason why they actually, respected the women and gave them their own division. And to the point where, the reason why we are right now in terms of how great women are in terms of drawing attention to your wrestling promotion. They kind of let them have their own storylines. They kind of let people stop, just being busted open in chair shots and stuff like that. Random hardcore matches, random bra and panties matches for the women. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's all done. So like, you know what? We're gonna pride ourselves on bringing exclusive wrestling content, long-term storytelling, compelling storytelling. Might I add? We're gonna have superstars being born from the ground up. And right now, I feel like with all the bad stuff kind of done back behind in the rear view mirror, now we have an amazing women's division. I feel like Raw could do the women's division a little bit better, but I feel like when Raw comes to Netflix, I think that's when they're going to introduce the two women's title and new women's titles, the WWE Women's Intercontinental and the WWE Women's United States, and they're just gonna have people go at it. And that that's the right way. That's the right kind of way to do it. I'm not trying to say during the holidays it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because you have the NFL, you have the NFL heating up. You also have the beginning of the NBA season. You also have at the end of baseball. The World Series is kind of after October and stuff like that. But in terms of television ratings, it's gonna be hard. It's a streaming service. It's not like cable television. It's not when, people are like, take a step away from the TV. It's just, it keeps the program running and running and running. And thus the network, gains you as a one viewer. One viewer, you're like, they tally you up. It's different. It's different. Raw has to be compelling. Raw needs all the biggest superstars that they possibly could get. And I feel like it's going to start with this bloodline. You're going to have three families going at each other, kind of like I said, kind of, randomly comparing it to Game of Thrones, fighting for that Iron Throne. Who is the king of Westeros, the king of the first man in the hand? And like and then you have Roman Reigns with his crew, The Rock probably showing up with his crew. And then, of course, you have, the false prophet Solo Sikoa doing, his thing that he is right now. Where's Paul Heyman? Where's Paul Heyman going to go? Like, that's crazy. I can't, you know, the way that I feel like they're going to handle this, that WWE should have handled this a long time ago. I feel like both Roman and The Rock, I feel like essentially they're going to, fight at WrestleMania for like winner takes all, tribal chief, kind of combat a little bit. Or maybe like a triple threat tribal chief combat would be pretty badass. I feel like that would be pretty cool. Or like an all out war games and Survivor Series. When you have 12 men inside the ring just beating the holy hell out of each other. That, oh God, that'd be so cool. I feel like that'd be amazing. Great things are coming to WWE. Obviously going to Netflix. I feel like I feel like it's right. I feel like at this point, streaming services in terms of basically any kind of corporation, any kind of business it's pivotal. it's pivotal, especially getting your stuff. Recently we saw AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery strike up a deal in terms of streaming services, and I feel like they are actually heading toward greener pastures. So, definitely, there's no, it's what is that old saying? How does it say? The only way is up. No, that's not right. God dang it. God dang it. But when I remember it, I'll definitely tell you guys. All right, so we're gonna move on to our that's ugly. We're going to move on to our fourth segment. We're going to talk about my top 10 WCW superstars in 2000. Obviously, this is when it comes to any kind of list, it's a little subjective. Obviously, I watched a lot of, later WCWs, probably from like the late 1990s. Like when I say late, I mean lately, like 1998 to 1999, heading toward the invasion. So obviously, if you guys have any WCW stars that I missed, make sure you hit it up in the chat and be like, hey, Eric, come on, man, what happened to this guy? Like, you know what I mean? So go ahead and grab your favorite drink, grab your favorite snack. We're going to talk about my top 10 WCW superstars in the 2000s before they were absorbed by WWE. So hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right. And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to talk about all things in terms of professional wrestling from AEW, WWE, and everything in between. We make sure we, touch base on all the action inside and outside the ring, all the rumors and spicy drama behind the curtain, and superstar news, updates, injury statuses, contract negotiations. We talk about it here on the GSMC Wrestling Lawyer podcast. Just kind of reiterate what we talked about real quick. We had our WWE Smackdown preview. We had my Thursday Night Wrestling review. We talked about Ring of Honor, TNA, also the National Wrestling Alliance, just a little bit. And then we talked about the possibility of the whole Bloodline storyline, the whole Bloodline drama could be made into a Netflix series. So we have all of them going to WWE Raw at the start of this new era of streaming services. The first time WWE has ever been on a streaming service. Well, not the first time ever, but weekly shows is on. It's going to be on Netflix. So kind of saw it as a reason for Netflix to be like, hey, like honestly, we could we can have a Netflix show starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That's amazing. We should definitely do that. So I definitely thought about it that way. But now we're going to talk about some WCW superstars that I feel like rocked in 2000. I was a huge WCW fan. I was born in 1992. So obviously when I started watching professional wrestling and when I was like 6 or 8, I'm not too sure. So I'm going to talk about some wrestlers that I remember watching on the tube in terms of WCW. So yeah, let's go ahead and dig on into it. So you got some World Championship Wrestling. At number 10, I got Lance Storm. I remember this guy. This guy was like the king of the mid cards. This guy was he was such a threat. And when he came to WWE and I kind of saw him kind of get thrown under the bus a little bit, I feel like out of the handful of WCW stars, Lance Storm, he won a couple of matches, but obviously, it wasn't sufficient enough to actually, be like, kind of show his talent, so to speak. Not a lot of WCW superstars who got claimed by WWE, or WWF/WWE, never really had a chance to kind of showcase their talents. Lance Storm, I remember watching him on WCW. He was such a good guy. He was such a boss. He was such a, I read backstage reports. I think it was once when the internet was it's so crazy. Remember when the whole dial tone in terms of Verizon and stuff like that, where you had that, like it's I don't know. Used to look up because I got cable. I used to look up updates on Windows 98. Damn, Windows 98, so old. Kind of showing my age here. No, I used to look up, WCW stuff because I was a huge wrestling fan. I was a huge wrestling fan, and then I find out like Lance Storm and like but finding out later on that Lance Storm was 1,010% such a great he he still trains people from time to time in terms of professional wrestling. But we're definitely gotta love and respect my man Lance Storm at number 10, one of my favorite WCW stars of the 2000s. So gotta respect that. Next, we got Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett, he left from WWE, well, WWF to WCW, eventually made it back to WWF. I think he went back to WCW. And it just, I just remember that match between him and Hollywood Hulk Hogan where he, laid down in the middle of the ring. Hollywood Hulk Hogan covered him, got the championship belt. Eventually, you would have Booker T defeat Jeff Jarrett later on that night. And then you have, that promo with Hulk Hogan be like, that's exactly why this business is in the shitter, brother. Like, and it was just so real. It was just so real. And Jeff Jarrett was completely professional about it. Still to this day, you kind of see what he's doing on AEW. He's still part of the professional wrestling industry. Back when he was a heel in WWF, where he lost to China for the for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. So Jeff Jarrett has just been a part of professional wrestling for so long, and got to pay my respects. At number 9, I got Jeff Jarrett. At number 8, I got Bill Goldberg. Don't cut my head off and say that Bill Goldberg is too low on the list. He's too low. Like this guy, in my opinion, watching his wrestling matches, I just don't think he was that good. I think it was mostly like squash matches. Like it was like I don't know. I don't. He's big. He's bad. He's strong. Like I get it. I get it. But why does he have to hurt every single wrestler he has? He comes across. Like why? Like he retired the Bret the Hitman Hart. Like he was a young stud. WCW loved so much and was like, we're gonna bring this guy Bill in. He's gonna come in. He's gonna run rapid all over WCW. You're next. He's not gonna give a damn about who he fights. He's not gonna give a damn about who likes him, who hates him. Bill Goldberg was that. I don't know. It was just I don't know. It was just bad wrestling. That's in my opinion. Obviously, 1,000%. My opinion at number 8, I got Bill Goldberg. All right, at number 7, I got Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash was a great wrestler. Obviously, you have Vinny Diesel, also Diesel, also what is it, Big Daddy Cool? No, Vinny Vegas. I think it was Vinny Vegas. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But Kevin Nash, like I don't have Scott Hall or Hollywood Hulk Hogan on this list because I feel like as NWO as a whole, you know it was big. It was really really big. Obviously, Hulk Hogan kind of caused his own demise in terms of WCW. Scott Hall was kind of like that, in the middle. Kevin Nash was probably one of the smartest wrestlers that has ever fought in terms of the professional wrestling industry, let alone the World Championship Wrestling. Uh, you know, he knew how to kind of keep his composure when kind of, stuff, when crap was hitting the fan backstage in terms of Vince Russo, Eric Bischoff, also, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, you know, Kevin Nash was always about the business. Even when he was when he was with WWE, he was always for the business. It just kind of sucks that once when he left WWE or WWF, then he went to WCW, and then it kind of went under, and he didn't make it to WWF or slash WWE right away, which I kind of wish he would have. I think maybe if I doubt Vince would have been like, oh, Kevin's back. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people thought once when the Click left, you had Razor, you had Kevin Nash kind of leave and pick up their stuff and go to WCW with Sean and Hunter Hearst Helmsley left inside the ring in a steel cage match. Well, I think it was the curtain call. I think it was the curtain call. But Kevin Nash is just a professional, 1,010%. All right, next I got Psycho Sid Vicious At number 6, I have Psycho Sid Vicious. This guy was great. This guy was great. He was a total heel, total psycho kayfabe. Uh, but Sid Vicious, every single time he went inside the ring, you kind of knew what to expect from him. You kind of knew exactly what character you were trying to get. It wasn't really any kind of, you know, like when you're a wrestling fan, especially me, when I watch wrestling fans and they're trying to be heel, when I'm trying to be like, oh, I'm this psycho guy, like, I'm crazy, I'm crazy. Like Sid had that perfect balance. He had that perfect balance between being a wrestler, being a champion, and also just being just guy in the locker room. A lot of other wrestlers respected Sid Vicious, and after his injury, which WCW creative told him to do, be like, hey, why don't you go out and why don't you jump from the top rope? You know what I mean? And Sid's like, all right, I'm a big ass dude, but let's give it a shot. Oh shoot, my meniscus! Like, oh my god, I remember watching that match, and you just see his leg like dangling, and you're like, oh my god, it's so crazy. But Sid Vicious was definitely part of the WCW that I remembered, part of the WCW that I loved 1,010%. So at number 6, I got Sid Vicious. All right, at number 5, I have the total package Lex Luger. This guy, he pissed me off. Oh my God, he pissed me off. Although, there was a couple times where I was wrestling with my brothers, put them up in the total package, and I was like, yeah, like you feel badass because you felt like the total package. But obviously, I didn't have the guns, I didn't have the chiseled chest or anything like that. We are just having fun as kids. I mean, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? Just kidding. Lex Luger, obviously from WWF, he literally within the span, I think it was one day or I think it was 2 days. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. Where Lex Luger was literally on WWE, WWF TV, and then he was on WCW, and a lot of people were like, oh, "What the heck's going on?" It created this it started the war. I know that might be a huge step. That might be a huge, for thing for me to say. But a lot of people thought Lex Luger coming to WCW, people thought it was a storyline. And all the fans got excited. You're like, okay, awesome. Finally, we're going to see WWF invade World Championship Wrestling. But in reality, couldn't really get a contract done. I'm not going to explore too much on the details and stuff like that. Um, but he found a place in WCW. And then, overall, I feel like it was great for his career. At number 4, I got Diamond Dallas Page, DDP, Diamond Cutter, dude. I used to love DDP. I used to love everything about him. I used to love the way he cut promos. I used to, I don't know if any of you guys remember watching Ready to Rumble with David Arquette and Scott Can, and it was just so great. Jimmy the King, he was the ultimate villain. But besides that, Diamond Dallas Page, when he made it to the WWF, they're like, oh, what are we going to do with this awesome guy who was so great in WCW? Guess what? We're going to have him stalk The Undertaker's wife. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. That's exactly what this is exactly what this guy deserves to be. But in reality, now you have DDP training WWE superstars. You see DDP doing a lot of backstage work in terms of the professional wrestling industry. Now he has, I think it was Diamond Dallas. I think it's DD. Like he does this yoga thing. I'm not too sure. Which he helps people lose weight and stuff like that. People with medical conditions. The workout regimen is actually very beneficial. It's actually 1,010% can be done with people who have like diseases like heart disease, liver disease. The workouts aren't too like impactful to be like to kind of help to kind of stun cardiovascular like pulmonary arteries activities and stuff like that. It's absolutely, made perfect for people who, you need to get in shape. And with that, that's just cool. That's just cool. 1,010%. Got to, shed a lot of light, shed a lot of respect on Diamond Dallas Page. He was one of my favorite wrestlers in terms of, WCW. At number 3, I got Big Papa Pump. Big Papa Pump. Scott Steiner recently saw his nephew Braun Breaker win WWE Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. So I thought that was cool. I remember him coming in doing push-ups. Scott Steiner claims that he's never done any kind of anabolic steroid in his whole entire life. I guess I believe it, but it's kind of hard. But I used to love seeing it come out. I used to do push-ups. It's like holla if you hear me, and then Big Papa Pump would come out, and you'd hear the sirens be like, I thought that was pretty cool. All right. No, I think it was. All right. And number two, I got Booker T. Can you dig it? Suck at the five-time WCW champion. Well, all I can really say about Booker T is this guy has balls. Obviously, not trying to get too crazy on this podcast. This is a, family friendly podcast, but this guy has balls, man. This guy took all the BS, took all the bull spit that WWF creative that Vince McMahon gave him, eventually made somebody of himself in terms of a WCW wrestler, becoming very, very popular, becoming a huge legend in terms of WWE. He withstood it all. He withstood it all 1,010%. That's something, that's one of the reasons why I feel like Booker T is definitely one of the best professional wrestlers inside the professional wrestling industry throughout my lifetime. Not just my lifetime, just throughout the world. If you had people gunning for you, they want to see you fail. WWE creative, once when the invasion happened with WCW, they wanted you to fail. Booker T was like, you know what? I'm gonna get back up. I got my ass beat by Stone Cold Steve Austin in a freaking supermarket. I'll let it roll. I'll let it roll. Triple H came out and during the promo on Monday Night Raw, I think it was Monday Night Raw, said I'm not good enough, said that, who are you? I'm just going to let it roll. Eventually, I'll become King of the Ring. Eventually, I'll become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Eventually, I will become the two-time WWE Hall of Famer. Definitely love Booker T. Definitely love and respect him. My number one, I got Sting. My number one WCW wrestler was Sting. Sadly enough, we did not see Sting move to the WWE because Sting said, and we all had speculations, but it was confirmed that Sting saw all the bad stuff that was happening to WCW talent, and he was like, "No, thank you, I'm good." I'm, nah. No, I'll try to find myself within another wrestling industry. And he did with TNA. And it was super successful. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, eventually Bobby Lashley would join the fray. Chris Sabin. You also saw a lot of X Division. Oh my God, the X Division back then was amazing. Jay Lethal. Oh my God. It was great. It was great. So those are my top 10 WCW superstars. You like them or you don't, send me a chat. Tell me how you feel. Now we're going to talk about our last segment, something we do every Friday. Want to let you guys know my Friday wrestling news roundup. We're going to talk about all the breaking news headlines in terms of professional wrestling. So, hey, do not go anywhere. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling, everything that we love so much, all the drama, all the just the anticipation, all the unpredictability that we love about professional wrestling is here on one podcast. So make sure you tune in, hit up that Superman punch, and show me how hard you can hit that subscribe button. Guarantee you subscribing to the GSMC Sports Network is the last thing, I give you the Eric Rodriguez guarantee that you will never, ever, 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 ever regret doing it, because we have a whole bunch of passionate podcasters talking about things that you guys love, we share a common interest, Why not have a nice little conversation about it? We engage our audience 1,010%. We want you guys to talk about, not just professional wrestling. Obviously, on this show, talk to me about professional wrestling. You know what? Talk to me about sports. Talk to me about football. Talk to me about baseball. I'm not a huge soccer guy. I'm not a huge soccer guy. Tune in 15 minutes to Emran's GSMC soccer podcast. You'll find all about soccer. But I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy for you. I'm sorry. Sorry. But no, anyways. So remember to, subscribe to the network, subscribe to the show, and we can have more fun on a daily, Monday through Friday. All right, just kind of reflect on what we talked about. We had our WWE Smackdown preview. We had my Thursday Night Wrestling review. Then we talked about the Bloodline coming exclusively to Monday Night Raw. Smart. It's a smart decision. It's a smart decision by WWE to bring Roman Reigns, The Rock, Solo Sikoa, and of course their crews over to Monday Night Raw to have this new Netflix kind of thing rolling a little bit. I'm excited. I can't wait to find out what Raw looks like, on streaming services. I think it's kind of cool. All right, and then we talked about my top 10 WCW wrestlers, and now we're going to talk about my wrestling news roundup. So let's go and talk about some of the news that I, discovered that I was like, you know what? We should totally talk about this. All right. So, first and foremost, don't get fooled by the picture. Yes, that is Shaquille O'Neal. And yes, that is a very attractive blonde in the right. I'm just kidding. No. But no, Shaquille O'Neal, quote unquote, checked on Mandy Rose when she was let go by WWE. Wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, she said in that quote, she said it wasn't in a creepy way. Oh, okay. Okay. Now we're cool. Now we're cool. Now we can talk about it. But, Mandy Rose was kind of ultimately let go for putting, basically having like an OnlyFans kind of thing. Don't want to get too into it. Don't want to get too into it. But I don't know. I just think it's kind of cool how Shaquille O'Neal, part of the NBA. Yeah, a lot of, WWE has stated that they are open to a lot of the, NBA things in the future. Obviously, we had Tyrese Halliburton. We had, Jalen Brunson on WWE Smackdown just like over a mere month ago. So, you have a lot of stars. You have a lot of stars, a lot of progressive, a lot of potential beneficial, mutual showings and relationships. Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers is an absolutely huge WWE fanatic. It's so sick. It's so awesome. I can't wait to see what becomes of it. But it's it's kind of cool to see Shaquille O'Neal kind of go out of anything in terms of WWE. I can just imagine a conversation he had with Mandy Rose. Hey, Mandy, how you doing? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm trying to make fun of. All right, moving on. Oh, another NBA analysis. We have Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley. You know, Charles Barkley is he's heading to AEW. Charles Barkley is all elite. Ladies, no, I'm just kidding. No, Tony Khan has stated that he is absolutely open to absolutely any kind of NBA collaboration, including Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley is a huge wrestling fan, so you know. And then you have the Warner Brothers Discovery contract, which is going to absorb the NBA, which might break up that TNT group. But overall, I feel like it's a money group, and I feel like it's not going anywhere. A lot of problems like Ernie Johnson. He is absolutely 1,010% loyal to Turner Television, which he's kind of admitted in he's admitted in conversation, also in an interview on Facebook Live. I think it was. I think, don't quote me on that, but I don't know. Charles, we're bringing in these new kind of bringing in different types of audiences. That's what it's all about. 1,010% are like, hey, Charles Barkley's going to be on AEW. All right, that's cool. Shaquille O'Neal fought in a match where he teamed up with, damn it, who did he team up with? He teamed up with somebody to take on Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes, and I think he got the vict. He got the vict. So Shaquille O'Neal's kicking ass in AEW. Now we need to put Charles Barkley out there. Hit a DDT. Maybe throw a basketball to the head or two. Like, who knows? What would Charles Barkley's finishing move be? Go ahead and hit me up in the chat. Let me know who you think Charles, let me know what Charles Barkley, his main event, his main move would be. But I don't know. I just, once again, trying to collaborate with, anything outside of professional wrestling is, I think it's kind of cool. Next, we have Adam Cole. Adam Cole is ready to come back to AEW, but at the same time, is AEW ready for Adam Cole? You have MJF feuding with Will Ospreay at the moment. The last time you saw Adam Cole, he gave him a huge low blow. Maybe he could possibly be a reason why Will Ospreay wins that AEW International Championship back at All In. But you also got to think in terms of the Undisputed Kingdom. The Undisputed Kingdom has been absolutely lost without Adam Cole. 1,010%. Roderick Strong has had his chances to be great. He failed. The Ring of, obviously, you have Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Mike Bennett, they are the champions and, the Ring of Honor Tag Team champions. But it's to the point where right now, they're not that great. I got to be honest. Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, they're not that great. Now, they should definitely put the titles on somebody else pretty soon. Just kind of get more of a rise out of the crowd. I've watched their matches and highlights and stuff like that. And then, it's just unimpressive. I'm sorry. I'm not, not trying to be not trying to be a burden, but I calls it like I sees it. You know what I mean? Like I calls it like I sees it. Pray to the Lord. Hallelujah. Jesus Christ. Just kidding. No, but overall, I feel like Adam Cole could be very good in AEW. He in terms of NXT, and I miss him in NXT so damn much. Ah, so great, the Undisputed Era, something that WWE definitely dropped the ball on. Uh, Adam Cole, he makes for great television. That's really honestly all I got to really say. MVP drops a cryptic tweet about Bobby Lashley leaving the WWE, and this just is something that we knew that was going to happen. Bobby Lashley was kind of wasn't really treated right by WWE. He claims he clicked more with Vince McMahon than he did with Triple H, Paul Levesque in terms of creative issues. MVP would come to Triple H, pitching ideas about awesome the Hurt Business storylines and story pitches, and Triple H, before he even had a chance to kind of hear him out, he'd be like, no, no, I'm good. I'm the good. And I'm like, I'm just kidding. No, but I know it just kind of sucks because Bobby Lashley is such an amazing superstar. If he makes it to AEW, 1,010%, he's the top guy on the roster. That's just a given. Kind of crazy. Next, Tony Khan still believes that WWE is tampering with contract negotiations in terms of wrestling stars. I don't think it's contract negotiations. I think a lot of the time, recently you saw AEW outbid WWE for I forgot his name. Damn it. Oh, I remember and randomly be like, shut up. But I think there comes to a point where people are like, yeah, dude, I'm a wrestler that wants to put his name out there. I'm a wrestler that has been watching WWE since the moment I was a kid. It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. It's not business. No one's tampering with anything. WWE's just been around longer. Why would you, be a part of a company that's been around for 5 years as opposed to a company that's been around since like the late 80s? That's just good business sense right there. But Tony Khan in the news today saying that WWE is still tampering with contract negotiations in terms of free agents. Next and lastly, we have the amazing Ariana Grace was spotted with an arm sling. There was a lot of speculation stating why have we not seen Ariana Grace around NXT within the last I don't think she's been on NXT for like since she was with Carmen Petrovic. They had that one-on-one match after Heatwave, I think it was. I know she's injured. She's injured. Hopefully it's not that serious. She's a great superstar. She's great inside the ring. I love her personality. Obviously, that gig she did with Gigi Doling, where she was, trying to make, I want to make you a woman. I want to make you into a pageant queen. And it was just funny. It was cool. It was interesting to see. Obviously, that's professional wrestling. That's it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch 1,010%. So Ariana Grace is out with an injury. So, a lot of crazy stuff were happening in terms of the professional wrestling industry. So, it's, that's why we love it. That's why we love it. Well, guys, that's it for me on a Friday. Go ahead and go out there and enjoy your guys' Friday, man. have a couple of drinks, chill out, talk with some friends, call your mother, call your father, whatever. Have a good time, you know. It's always a good time. But I'm just kidding. No, yeah. Thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us. So please remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Also follow the show, follow the network, and also follow us on all the major social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter/X, and Facebook for more content and updates. Like I always say, if I haven't made you a wrestling fan by now, remember we have a bunch of other sports. We have all around sports with Jeremy, all around sports with TJ. We have the Andrew Tate podcast. We also have Nelson with the GSMC basketball podcast. We got my boy Chris Shepard with the GSMC Fantasy Sports podcast. We got football right around the corner. The NFL is heating up. We have, my boy Manny with the Chip Shop Football podcast, Kenneth with the GSMC Football podcast, and we also have college football right around the corner with my boy Tommy. Man, Tommy, man. I don't know why whenever I say his name, it's like so Italian. So Tommy, man, Tommy. I'm just kidding. But all great podcasters, all amazing, and of course I got my man Emran coming to you live in 3 minutes. So sit tight. Get ready, grab a bag of popcorn, and get ready to hear about some awesome soccer content. So, but that's it for your favorite wrestling fan. I'm out of here. Don't want to say goodbye, but have a great weekend. Stay safe. Be awesome. Absolutely, stay beautiful, stay healthy. And lastly, hate to say it, but I love you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.